Good day, everyone. So, the topic that we're going to tackle is all about the Assure model and models of technology enhanced instructional lesson. The reporters are Mr. Ariel Arnopia and yours truly, Shumara Martin Nuena. So, before we proceed to our topic, I want you to answer this question. Which type of educational system do you prefer and why? Is it traditional learning or the modern system? Okay, so after watching this video, kindly please send your answers to our GC since we are not able to have our virtual discussion earlier. Okay, let's proceed. What is a Assure model? It is very important to know what a Assure model is before digging up, before we discuss one by one the steps in the Assure model. So the Assure model is an instructional system or guideline that the teacher can use to develop lesson plans which integrate the use of technology and media. Yes, it is very understandable that the Assure model is a guideline that focuses on enhancing or in developing the teacher's way of communicating or the teacher's way of teaching with the integration of technology and media. Clear? Yeah, gets. Okay, so the Assure model has 6 steps. Obviously, because the word itself, Assure, has 6 letters. And each letters is represented with an acronym title and a step describing a task central to the informed selection and use of educational technology. The Assure acronym stands for these important components. First, A. Analyze learners. S. State objectives. The second S. Select methods, media, and materials. Next is the U. Utilize media and materials. R. Require learner participation. And lastly, the E. Evaluate and revise. So let us discuss it one by one. First, we have A. Analyze learners. Who is the audience? Kinsa ka ha? So, the first step in the process is that the teacher should analyze the attributes, the personalities, the characteristics of her or his learners. There should be a focus on those learner characteristics which are associated with the learning outcomes desired. The information gathered will help you in the decisions that you make with respect to the other steps in the process. When you determine the character of the learners, it will guide you in choosing specific strategies and resources to aid the learning process. So it is really better, or it is really important to know your learners, to observe your learners one by one kung mahimo. Because in this way, you can know how to get their attention, you can know how or what strategy will you use in teaching them so that they can attain easily or they can process the lesson quickly, 'di ba? Kuan din nila, masuden sila mga auto ka mauni with the help of course sa technology and media. Dali nimo siya ma-integrate because you know naman your learners, you know what are their interests, you know how to get their attention naman. So it is very easy for you to have the process, the learning process. So the analysis of your learners should include the general attributes or the general characteristic of your learners, such as their age, their academic abilities, their gender, and of course their interests. It is very important sad nga you know what are your learners interest kay lahi-lahi biya each students, so dapat mag-coincide gyud ang imuhang bala nila nga lesson or bala nimo nila nga aid or mga any strategy nimo so that mas dali ang process sa learning. Okay, it is also important that you know the learning styles that they want, such as the auditory ba, visual, or anything gusto nila or inana ba, dapat you really need to observe them so that you can know your atake. Nana man siya, know your enemy, di ba? Minana man na kay para kay baw ka kung unsa ang imuhang bala. So, more sa na siya sa audience. Kinahanglan nimo sila i-observe para makaibaw ka kung sakto ba jud ang imong buhat. So, let's proceed. Gets naman no? Gets na gets. Okay, S, state objectives. What the students need to learn. Okay. So, unsa ka ha? So, after the analysis of the learner's attributes, the teacher must state standards and objectives for the learning module. And this statement consists of a specification of what learners will be able to do as a result of the instruction. So, are you familiar sa mga modules na to diha no nga? Lesson 1, Chapter 1, then following objectives. After this lesson, the kuan will blah blah blah. Diba? Familiar ta na? Yes. So, dapat dapat mo set jud ka goal kay kana na human naman ka og as kanang kuan nila, observe nila, you know them, you know your audience, your learners. So now you need to set your goal kung unsa ang imuhang gusto nga mahitabo sa ilaha. So mao na siya state objectives kay ug mo na okay mo na ka and then wala na. So kinahanglan ka mo state og goal or set your goal so that naamoy accomplishments ingana na siya. The mark of a good set of learning objectives is conformity to the ABCDs of well-stated learning objectives. They are as follows. A, audience, for whom is the object intended? Okay. B, behavior, what is the behavior or performance to be demonstrated? Conditions. C, conditions, what are the conditions under which the behavior or performance will be observed? Lastly, the degree. To what degree will the knowledge or skill be mastered? So, dapat kanang ABCD mo sa na imong guidelines to make an learning objectives. So, take note of that ha. Okay? So, next, we have the second S, select methods, media, and materials. What the instructors need to use for face-to-face, hybrid, and online teaching. So the second S in the acronym, okay, stands for select methods or strategies, media, and materials. Given what your learning objectives are, it is necessary to pick instructional strategies, technology, and media that will bring about the results that you want. First, you should figure out what or which delivery method will be best for your instruction. For instance, what proportion of your instruction will be instructor-centered and what proportion of what proportion of your strategy is student-centered. So, the first of these are strategies such as lecture, demonstration, showing a video. That is instructor-centered. And when we say of a group discussion or cooperative group work or basta mag-involve siya og kanang group work or individual work, that is student-centered. So, magpili ka ana nila, pero dili ra ka na duha imong pilian ha. There are many strategies that you want. You can use anything you want as long as you know, diba? As long as ma-fit siya sa imuhang learners. Okay. Very good. So, dapat ka mo pick og right nga methods or strategies nga maangay sad. Kinahanglan nimo ipili ang Mr. Right sana bitaw. So that's the select methods, media and materials. Ang imo na yung diba na choose the right one. Char. Next, let's proceed na. Okay, utilize media materials. How do instructors use the materials? So this step in the assure process concerns making a plan as to how you will utilize the technology, media, and materials that you have selected. As with all of the instructional steps, you must make sure that your plans contribute towards producing the objectives that you have laid down. Okay, so atong ihanay ha padung sa ASS. Okay, so manaman kag-observe sa imong learners. So next, state na kag objectives, set na kasi imong goal. Next, you have to select a instructional strategy. Select pa kung mo choose ka sa the right one o select ka ana. Next is magplan ka kani nag-select naman ko unsaon man ako siya pag-implement, unsaon man ako siya pag-integrate nga mas masabtan, nga mas effective, di ba? So dapat you will make a plan. Okay. So the utilized media is important to follow. It is very important to follow the 5 P's daw to utilize the media. First, preview the technology, media, and materials. Second, prepare the technology, media, and materials. Third, prepare the environment. Fourth, prepare the learners. And fifth, provide the learning experience. So it is very understandable, man. I don't need to explain it. You just need to read through it so that you can understand it well. But basta it is very understandable. Okay, so kinahanglan na jud ka mo magplan kung unsaon nimo siya pagkuan. Pareha ra gud anang ni-pick ko niya siya akong sa Tinder nag-scroll ka for example na niya. O ni-pick aning kay match man mo o ni heart kaniya. Nya unsaon magplan sad ka kung unsaon nimo siya pag-chat, di ba? So mo na siya. And then next we have the require learner participation. This step actually begins within early steps. It requires that you make plans to how you are going to actively engage your students in the material that you are teaching. This needs to be figured out both as the class level and the individual level. The most basic step that you can take is requiring participation of the students in class discussion. A more sophisticated approach would require that students prepare questions and comments at home to bring into the class. You might try even allowing individual students to lead classes or discussions in the style of a seminar. So, pwede sad ka mag-inana nga methods. Beyond this, you need to plan exactly how the students will participate in learning process. Generally speaking, how will they learn the information and techniques included in the lesson? These plans need to be more specific than just saying that they will listen and absorb the material. Maybe you will encourage a specific kind of note-taking or other learning strategies. So, mura-mura gyapon ni siya katong know your kanang learners. But this time, you need to plan nga on how to get their attention. You need to get their attention by using learning strategies. Like for example, students will actively engage in discussion, small group activities, formative assessment, reportings. Dapat students you need to imply student-centered strategy so that you can be able to engage an interactive class. Diba? So, mas maayo man gid na nga naamoy mas maayo man gid na nga naay participation or interactive ang inyong flow sa inyong class discussion. Kay through that mas maka-learn man gid ta, diba, from our own experience. Mao man jud na nga di ko ganahan mag-online class, kay di jud mi maka-learn, kay wa jud mi ana di mi maka way discussion way kuan, diba. Mas maayo man gid to nga naay interaction with the students and the teachers, diba. Okay, so lastly we have the what's this? Evaluate and revise. What works and what doesn't? Char. So the final step in the assure process is just as crucial as all of the others. In this step, you evaluate the impact of your teaching on students' learning. This includes an evaluation of your teaching strategies and the technology and media and materials that you use. The following questions are used to ask during this evaluation. So, sa imuha na evaluation. For example, mangutana ka, did your lesson meet the learning objectives that you planned? How will you determine whether the students reached the objectives? Is your way of assessing the students in line with your learning objectives? Kat imong giset ganina sa first S, o diba? Can this lesson be improved? How are you going to assess the weaknesses in your presentation? And was your choice of media and materials a good one? How will you assess the effectiveness of these tools? Is it possible that other technologies, media, and materials would have done a better job? So, mag-self-evaluation ka kung ang imong mga students kay naka-attain ba jud sa imuhang gibuhat nga strategy. Mag-self-evaluate ka through assessment. Mag-assessment kanila quizzes like oral recitation, kay with that you can know nga okay, diri sila something diri nga wala nasabtan, kay basin dili kaayo klaro, diba? So mo na siya ang evaluate. And if ingnana gani nga digits na ay mga errors ingnana, so that means that you need to revise na nga mas masabtan nila. Okay, gets? Okay, very good, Okay, so the final step in evaluation should focus on feedback from your students. Was their experience positive overall? Do they feel that they have reached your objectives and their own personal objectives? How will you determine whether or not your performance was effective? Okay, mo na to kung gi-mention earlier to assess or to make an assessment, a quizzes like that, so that mas maklaro gyud nimo, diba? So in conclusion, the assure model process is really just a matter of common sense. However, it is good to follow a regimented guide to improve your teaching technique. Any effective teacher knows that the perfection of their technique does not come overnight, and there is always room for improvement. By following the assure process, you will be sure to improve your teaching strategies, your methods, techniques, and other styles you want for many years to come. So, there's a room for improvement, you all. You need to remember that. So, that will be all for my topic. I will give the virtual floor to Mr. Ariel Ornopia. Thank you, and I hope you learned something.
Hello everyone, good morning. Good morning once again. And this morning I'm going to continue the report of Miss Shumara, which is all about the Assure model. So let's proceed to since Miss Shumara already done reporting with the Assure model, let's proceed to the models of technology enhanced instructional materials. Okay, so models of technology enhanced instructional materials The learning place can also evolve, especially when you consider the varied roles that learners play. They can learn and perform the task in any physical and virtual location. Okay, so learners can act or become four different roles in using models of technology in their lesson. Okay, so first is the contributors. Okay, what is the rules of contributors? Okay, so contributors, learners can upload materials such as video or an audio, post a message, submit an output in a Dropbox, or add documents and ebooks, and add pictures or contribute to a digital world using a pop-up. Okay, so here we go. How a, how a learners can be a contributors. Okay, for an instance, a learners can upload materials or picture with the hashtag fight against COVID-19. So therefore, the learners simply give their sympathy and cooperation in advocating everyone to fight against the COVID-19. Okay, gets na. Next is learners can act or can become a creators. The learners can collate a digital portfolio known as an e-portfolio or create a virtual poster on an interactive resource. They can produce a digital story, edit the interest, and share. Okay, so here we go again. How a learners can be a creators. Okay, so for example, a learners create a poster and upload it in any social media about how the frontliner face the threat or getting infection of COVID-19. Okay, so next is communicator. The third one is the communicator. Using technology tools, learners can chat with peers, post a reply in a blog, and contribute a comment to athlete trade flow. Okay, so here we go. How can a learners can be a communicator? So by using technology, the students have the chance to communicate their peers, to share and acquire knowledge and information. Okay, so next is the collaborators. The last but not the least, the collaborators. Learners can participate in posting ideas in forum where there can be an asynchronous discussion. Okay, so here we go. How can a learners can be a collaborators? Okay, by by joining live videos and collaborate to the speakers, we can say that learners can become a collaborators. Because okay, so I guess that would be all.